Hey everybody, welcome to the Akashic Forecast, aka the Report from the Field. I'm Justin Anderson Taylor, a writer, a theater creator, and Akashic consultant. And we are about to go into the records for April 2026. I don't have the records open now. I'm about to go do that. I do not know what's coming. I do have some intuition that it's a strong one. So grab a tea, maybe something to write with, and I will see you there. All right, welcome to the full forecast for April 2026. I do now have the records for the month open. Before I go into what I'm receiving, just very briefly, as always, what are the Akashic records? We are entering into a level of understanding that is bigger than the normal human mind. The normal human mind is very concerned with me and what I consider mine. And in the Akashic records, that limitation is over. All knowledge in potential, all activity of life itself, inner, inside, outside, all of it is knowable. And we use a sacred practice. Those of us who are consultants, we use a sacred practice to open up this level of understanding. And every month I open this level of understanding for the month ahead, for guidance, perspective, for our development. And so without any further waiting, let's hear what is coming in. So the first thing the records are sharing with me is that April is a month of playfulness. We have April Fools happening on the 1st, and they want to emphasize the Fool as a kind of archetype, if you will, for April. The Fool is a remedy. It is a counter to the freak out, to the anxiety. And with the energetic storm that is happening on the surface level, with the war in Iran, uncertainty about markets, and all the upheaval that has been happening in the past 2 years, they really are wanting to propose a kind of response to this anxiety through playfulness and humor as one way, not the only way, but one way to balance out anxiety. There is a deep a possibility in April to kind of get the cosmic joke, if you will. Get the cosmic joke, which is that all of this anxious energy that lives up here in the mind, it is somewhat down in the belly too, the feeling of being ungrounded, unmoored, the ground that we stand on being unstable. That is also a source of anxiety. But for the most part, it has to do with an overemphasis on myself. For the most part, the drama we're seeing play out on the global stage is that ego emphasis on self on steroids. What I want, what I prefer, is given such dominance in our culture that we now have this war in the Middle East that's flared up. One person's version or one country's version of what I want or what we want and what we prefer, what is mine, at war with another. And that is what they're saying is the kind of last gasp of this mentality. And that can be very activating to that same mentality in all of us. And the big cosmic joke is that this me doesn't actually exist. That is the big cosmic joke. And that what we are is perfectly one with all things. It is everything. And so we are at all times already safe, at peace, abundant, not by something we think or believe, but by conscious contact through what we are. Conscious contact through what we are gives us that understanding. And as I've said many times in other forecasts, that knowledge is really understood in the lower energy centers, not the mind center. The mind center is a center that follows the truth. The best it can do is be open or question. Real knowledge happens in the heart, solar plexus, the gut. The throat chakra can express that. The third eye chakra can see into higher planes of understanding. The crown chakra also opening up to higher levels of understanding. But that understanding actually happens down in the heart, solar plexus, and the gut. So it's like information, higher frequency information comes in through the solar plexus, the third eye, and through the crown. But the actual understanding that we receive, the place where it occurs is down in the lower chakras. And so they want to emphasize that laughter, the fool, can put an end run through the anxiety smokescreen of one's thinking. And so one can appear or feel like the fool to be in a time when there's a lot of upheaval and not join with it, but instead to have knowledge down in the lower chakras of the innate stability and peace of this moment of now. You will never find peace in time. It will always disturb. It will always destabilize. The future is imaginary. The past also imaginary. And what is imaginary, what can be imagined, is fleeting, can change, and therefore isn't stable. So again, the lower chakras understand now. They live in now. And so that's where true understanding takes place. That's where true knowledge of peace and happiness and reality occur. So again, this fool is inviting us to, again, do an end run around or break through the anxiety and know true knowledge down in the lower chakras. Even things like watching dark comedy, Monty Python, Mel Brooks, all of those bolder comics out there, South Park, the sources of comedy that make us laugh at the things that cause anxiety are really, really helpful. That's why all these protests that we've seen in the world recently have really emphasized a lot of humor. For example, people showing up in inflatable fantasy outfits like dinosaurs and unicorns to scramble ice activity. That kind of fool energy is really, really helpful. Also, it brings levity to something that would otherwise feel very heavy and encumbering. And so, also in April, also with the chakras, they want to emphasize here that there's a strong invitation in April to bring all of the energy centers into a kind of balance, so that there's not just one being emphasized. In other forecasts, they've really emphasized bringing attention down into the lower chakras to know, as they've said before, your true being and the truth of you and the truth of life. which is peace and happiness. But that doesn't need to negate the other energy centers that are a little more creative. So there's a strong emphasis for coherence across all of the energy centers. If you have not learned the earth breath meditation, which I teach, please reach out to me. I can send you recordings of that. Essentially, you breathe earth energy up the central channel, and when you breathe out, you bring celestial energy down the central channel. So there's this exchange of earth energy and celestial energy through your channel on the in-breath up and the out-breath down. This naturally brings coherence to all of your energy centers. Very key in a time like right now. There's also yogic exercises that bring this balance. There's the 5 Tibetan rites, which are Tibetan yoga exercises that are very, very well known and common. You can look those up. Those also bring this strong balance and energetic frequency alignment, so that all of the energy centers are spinning at the same frequency. Those yogic rites are very helpful for that, the records are saying. So beyond that, I see a very strong yellow color in April, a very vibrant yellow, which is the color they're saying of creativity and peaceful action. And it's also associated with the ascension of Christ, who was the ultimate fool, they're saying, on earth, someone that did not live in the matrix mentality of their time, that really showed what it can be to live from a totally radically independent truth that is deeply connected to everything. And the very, very advanced soul that showed the world what's in potential for all of us in terms of mastering life, mastering having a human body and living a true life. So their ascension is the final presentation, display of that mastery. So we can experience that together as well, our own beautiful rebirth, getting the cosmic joke that we are not the limited mind-made me that the whole of human civilization seems to train us to believe in, and that we are the impersonal, abundant being that is all of life. To see that joke, to get the punchline, is a kind of ascension. It's a kind of rebirth into an awakened existence. And that's also totally in potential here in April. Absolutely. And again, that knowledge happens really deeply down in our lower energy centers, with the blessing of the totality. So again, earth breath, breathing in, earth energy rising up through the crown all the way to the celestial, breathing out, celestial energy coming down through the crown and the energy central channel into the earth. All of that primes the system to be fertile for this liberating ultimate knowledge. All right, that is the forecast for April that I have, that they're offering. And I wish you a beautiful month ahead. And I will see you next month. Take care.